National coach and president ICF Ghana chapter. I've also got in studio Mr. Samuel Ayim, lawyer and leadership coach, member of the board of directors, ICF Ghana chapter. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are we doing?
We're good. We're trying to be like you.
Mr. Scofrey, we were having a little chit chat before the mic.
Don't do naming ceremony.
I don't know, yes, sir.
I wanted to take the opportunity to learn something new this morning.
You just want to do a naming ceremony. So
Scofrey, is that a Zimbabwean name?
No, it's not a Zimbabwean.
But it's from the African continent.
It is for the African continent.
I see.
And you will only find an African by that name. Because it is not originating from Europe or anywhere in the Americas.
I see. Your parents are well traveled then.
My parents, no, I'm not quite sure. The farthest she's traveled is maybe somewhere Cape Coast. No.
I wanted to know where she had gone to go and acquire this one.
My dad, farthest he traveled, yeah. Well, because he worked with State Housing Corporation, maybe travel within Ghana, but so it came with what I do.
Okay.
It's a name that came with what I do.
I see.
So it's not very common that you will have. It's a name that comes with call to serve.
I see.
So if you are called to serve, like I'm doing, like what is carrying us around, that is why I live, and that's what I live for.
Okay. Now, for the uninitiated, ICF, what does that stand for?
International Coaching Federation.
International Coaching Federation. How long has the ICF been around?
I think next year will be the 30th year.
Okay.
Next year will be the 30th year globally. Originally founded in United States of America. Thomas Leonard and a group of coaches decided to form a federation that will manage, regulate, set standards, set ethics, set values that will guide and govern the coaching profession as it was emerging then.
Oh, okay, I see. So that it's not one that, like you say, is unregulated and maybe running wild, if you will.
Exactly.
Was there a need, though, to rein it in, to confine it?
Well, absolutely. Actually, yesterday we were having a discussion on a platform, and one of the coaches from Rwanda says that there was this guy on radio who was saying he's a coach and was selling all this coach. Then, so he made the effort to reach out, and he found that this guy had no training in any coaching, no certification at all. Actually, he was a match date. Helps people to get dates. But he's calling himself coach.
A coach.
Today we hear a lot of people calling themselves coaches. But professional coaching is so powerful, and it's professional, it's regulated, it has standard, it has ethics. But there's so many people who have no training at all, but they call themselves coaches. And that is why bringing ICF Ghana chapter is so important, so that we can help to clarify, we can help educate, we can help people to understand. So when somebody says, I'm a coach, you ask him, okay, so what is your certification?
That's important.
Then, because people can just use the name anyhow. I mean, if I'm a lawyer,
right,
and then you ask me, you go to the Ghana Bar Association row, you'll find my name
That's
there.
right.
But if I say I'm a lawyer, and then I said, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't care. I call myself a lawyer. No, because coaching is a profession that adds value. In fact, very good value to human beings. It's a transformational learning process. Okay, I call it a learning technology.
Right.
Okay, so our process of learning from what we know from our schools has been our teacher telling us what he knows.
That's right.
And then they have a cane behind us. And they'll give you some facts to keep in your mind. And if you don't have those facts, they give a cane.
What we call chew and pour. Simply chewing and pouring it back out.
And so that is fact-based learning and fear-based learning. That kind of learning is short-term. If I ask you, or if you ask me, all the things I learned in secondary school and today,
Oh, Charlie, I was learning how to label a cow and who is a ruminant and so on and so forth. But Mr. Eyim, based on that analogy, now I think that puts things into proper context. If you go and seek the advice of a lawyer, you go and get a lawyer to look at your case and they are not certified, they haven't gone through the proper regulations, you could find yourself behind bars. You lose your case and you go behind bars. So same as with a coach, then you have to make sure that they are properly certified, because there are consequences to taking advice from a coach who isn't regulated, who doesn't have the proper acumen to give you said advice. But you said the ICF is about 30 years old. Is the Ghana chapter just as old? How long has that been in existence?
Ghana chapter is not even 1 year old yet.
Okay.
So that is why it's the good news that there were a few coaches here in Ghana who wanted something bigger than just being in their small corners. Because coaching is just like any profession, whether it's medicine, whether it is law. You always need a community where you can sharpen each other.
Right.
What we call continuous coaching education. So when you get credentialed, that's what we CCEU, Continuous Coaching Education Unit, that will aid you to renew your credentials.
Right.
So it was a mission critical for us, the coaches here, to be able to get a chapter status. So when we got to ratify everything, the lengthy process, then by the grace of God in September, we got the ratification, we got to select our board of directors and everything. A country that has got a chapter automatically can now boast of an industry.
Okay.
And number two, then the advocacy to intensify the relevance and the key role coaching plays in this our development. You now begin to, okay, something now is here, we can make use of it.
Right.
Coach Samuel was saying that what coaching does to you goes beyond what your eyes can see. It goes deeper into your body, very deep. Something we call neurogenesis. Even your cells begin to grow anew.
Right.
Because you begin to expand who you are, how you see the world, how you understand yourself. So if the person is
get closer to the microphone.
If the person is not trained, if the person is not credentialed, if the person is not practicing, the reverse is also the same.
Okay.
Whilst the person is not a coach and making you believe to believe that he's a coach. So whatever intervention that is going on, you are thinking as a client that you are receiving coaching. Apparently that is not what you are getting. We've come across clients that said, oh, I have gone through coaching before. And just a simple question, because that is our biggest tool, questioning. Right. Okay, then what is coaching? Oh, being taught, being mentored, being this, being that, being advised. You know, when I'm in trouble, the person tells me what to do and everything, then you know something is wrong. Because coaching, we don't tell.
Okay.
Among all the supporting professions, we are the only ones that we don't tell.
What do you do?
We ask. Because we know the power of questioning. The power of questioning, we know. We are trained. Not just because, we are here, we said, hey, no. Even the setting,
right,
the space for which coaching must occur, that alone is both scientific, is both ecological. That is how come when you put, let's say, managers of media generation, if you put 5 of them, whose department are input and output to each other, if you put 5 of them on coaching for 6 months, you will see a shift between those 5 departments as compared to the other department, because coaching is also ecological.
Right.
Who the leaders are or begins to babble to be will also reflect on the job. So coaching is one of the finest, biggest interventions in human capital development. Yes, we know training. Yes. We know mentoring. Yes. But these two must sit on coaching.
Well, Scott, for something that has definitely piqued my interest is this idea that coaching is not about even telling somebody what to do or advising, that in fact you're asking. I think that is something you certainly have to expand on for us. But before we even get there, is this has coaching been accepted by Ghanaians? Do you think as a culture we are at the place where we see the value, the importance and the essence of coaching?
Yes. And I would answer that, but just to add a bit to close up on what Scorpio was saying. So the reason we don't tell you what to do with your life is that you as an individual, you carry your story, your values, your beliefs, you are like Kofi likes to say, you are the CEO of your life. My life, my experiences, I can share them with you. The way I did and I came here, I can share them as a mentor. But it doesn't mean that the same thing will help you. But when I ask you questions about your life and help you, which is what coaching is, a partnership through a thought-provoking creative process, which would then help you to reflect on the things you believe, your perspective. And then you begin to say, oh, I didn't think about it that way. Okay. Ooh, so there are other options. It gives you you yourself in that reflective process come to a new awareness. That's why we say coaching is an insight-based learning. It just blows up the things that you have held dear, which may be actually hindering your potential and your growth. Through questioning, powerful questioning, creative questions, open-ended questions that enables you to expand your thinking, your perspective. The things that you believe were perfect today, through simple questioning, you can begin to see the other side of the story. So has coaching been accepted in Ghana?
Yeah.
Really, we are at the very beginning.
Okay.
A number of international organizations who have parents out there who understand coaching have actually procured coaching for their organizations. In fact, there's one of them that I work with where they are trying to bring coaching to all the managers so they know how to use the coaching approach in their leadership. They are not coaches, but even learning how to lead as a coach is different from where you are telling your staff and you are shouting on them and so forth. When you shout on the people and tell them what to do, sometimes they get confused.
Right.
But if you ask them, this job, how could you do it differently? What else would help you? The person begins to think, what are your limitations? They begin to think through and they say, I can do this, I can do this. So which one is the best option? The person chooses. And once he has come to that realization, he takes responsibility instead of what you told him. That's not his way of doing it. Now it is his way of doing it, so he takes responsibility and he can be accountable. If he uses the method you told him to use and it doesn't work, he said, but boss, that's what you said I should do.
Right.
So you can hold him accountable.
Would you say coaches then also maybe double as therapists even? Because that kind of reminds me of what a therapy session feels like. A therapist is never really telling you what to do, but they are, teasing the answers from within. The answers are somewhat innate, but they find a way to tune your mind and you think, maybe I'm behaving this way because of the past. Are there some similarities then with the two professions?
There are dissimilarities.
Okay.
But we tend to, at some point, join forces to support clients.
Okay.
So if you consider therapy, they come in as intervention, in quote, to fix you because something is broken.
Right.
And they look at your past. Most of the questions will go deep into your past to check what is happening to you now. Where is it traced from? But the coach will come in at where you are now.
Okay.
So, for instance, I have clinician friends. When they are done with serving their client through therapy, they say, at this point, you need a coach.
Okay.
Then they reference them to me. Sometimes when I'm having sessions with a client, every coach is able to read what we call themes of therapy, themes of something is amiss, that is psychological, that is psychiatric, that is that. So when I'm able to read that theme, my first point of call is my colleague therapist. So we don't go into your past. We don't dwell on the events that your body is holding. We don't deal with the bottom line, we don't deal with trauma. Trauma is for the therapist or the psychologist or the clinician or the psychiatric. So why we use questioning without referencing to your past, without looking at how deep it is, because trauma has a way it shows up.
That's right.
But when we ask you, for instance, he suggested there's one angle you're looking at something. It takes a question to want you to look at it from a different angle.
Okay.
And our body is designed to learn and unlearn. but it is question that stimulates that two processes.
It's not force, it's not duress, it's not threat.
Exactly. Because it must sit within your personal purpose, sit within your personal values, sit within even your competencies, your capacities, your strengths and weaknesses. So if a question is put to you, it means that there's an angle you want to look at the situation. More or less, you used to look at the thing at a 1D. You have not even tried 2D. It's a coaching question that will take you through those phases. And one of the beautiful things about coaching is, as you learn to unlearn your own perspectives, it starts in your body. That is why telling you, like he says, telling you what to do, it is my experience that I'm telling you to do. It may not probably work for you, but because it has come from somebody, you try it and try it does not work, it even adds up to the frustration. So you are the author, you are the holder of who your life is, such that if you commit to coaching, you have given me a license into a part of your life that says, Coach, I will hold you responsible for your words. When you commit to something, I will hold you responsible. When you commit to something, I will hold you accountable. The actions you are taking, I will question you on that.
Right.
The moves you are making, I will question you on that. Even why you feel the way you feel about something, I will question you on that, because your feelings carry messages.
Right.
I cannot tell in your body, so I will only need to what? Because this is what makes coaching a phenomenon.
I do want to ask, though, what sort of an individual would benefit from coaching? Is this something that any individual could benefit from? And then I want us to talk about specifically leadership coaching and what sort of deficiencies that you have observed as you've been practicing this profession.
All right. So, as a general rule, everybody can benefit from coaching, generally.
Okay.
But as he said, if you are in a condition of trauma, emotional, psychological situation, then coaching will not help you. You need a therapist.
Yes.
But number 3, also, you need to have somebody who is willing to submit to coaching. Because if you're not willing to go through, if you're sick and you say, I'm not sick, I don't want to see a doctor, you're not willing to take the medication the doctor
And I
gives
mean,
you.
do you encounter people like that who actually maybe submit themselves to coaching, but throughout the process you realize maybe they were asked by the company or maybe a spouse or whatever, to a friend suggested it, but they're not really ready to receive said coaching? Do you encounter? I'm guessing from the laughter that actually that's maybe
it
quite
does.
common.
It does happen.
It does.
It does happen, which happens also in training. We've had companies pay huge monies for people to go for training. They leave the training and go shopping.
Especially if there's food involved. They say, this training at 1 p.m. there's lunch, this training they're providing. So that's the incentive for them to go. They're not really there to to receive the training.
So you need to be willing. But coaching is for people who really want to expand their potential. People who want to grow. People who want to say, I'm here. But where else could I be? Is it all I can achieve in my life? Is it all I can do? I feel I can do something. Then you go to coaching. And that is where we, through the coaching tools that we have, will help you to look at where you are now, as he's saying. And by the end of the day, you see where you could be. What will be the obstacles? What are the tools? What are the options? What are the resources you need? At the end of that process, you yourself come to a realization that I can do this. I'll do this first. I'll do this second. I'll do this third. I'll do this fourth. These are the issues. I need to deal with that. I need to deal with that. It's you. Coach will not tell you anything to do. But you, through the discussion and the questioning that will come to that realization. And that would help you to grow to the level that you require. I don't know if that answered the question.
Yes, certainly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's why we are here as ICF Ghana chapter, and Scoffrey said we had a charter, and we are launching the chapter to give the awareness to the people, especially corporate organizations. And you talk about leadership.
Yes.
Now, leadership is actually the cause. Why are we here as a country? Why are we here as Africa? Why is it that we have all the resources?
That's right.
And yet, somebody is coming and take our resources and we sit down. When we sit even at the negotiation table, you know that when those people in Europe are coming to negotiate with us, they have their coaches. Before they come, they've gone with their coaches and they know exactly.
They have a strategy.
A strategy. But we go and sit there and we have no coaches. Our leaders have no coaches on their side. Now, if you're a leader and you don't have a coach on your side, you are just using your own perspective and intuitions, your history. Some people are leading by the way some of their bosses did. This is how they did to me. Me too, I'll do that to the others. Or they observe how their parents and others behaved, and they come and behave the same way. But as a leader, talk about all the great leaders, the top 500 FTSE organizations, the top organization, all of them have coaches. All American presidents have coaches. Presidents have coaches.
That's right.
Ministers, top CEOs, every one of them have coaches. Bill Gates says he has a coach. He always has a coach. Why does he have a coach? Because the coach helps you to enhance your potential and your performance. That's why they're doing great. So as leaders, if you want to really lead at a very high level, we actually recommend coaching to you. Okay? Training is great, but it will tell you to a limit. It will give you the fact. We call it fact-based learning. It will give you all the facts. But to have an insightful, disruptive, transformational, long-term learning and approach to doing things, coaching is great.
So it sounds as though that if you were to put two leaders side by side, it would be palpable which a leader has a coach or has gone through some type of coaching, and which one, in fact, has relegated that to to the sidelines or to the back.
Absolutely. Now, I mean, coaching sometimes is confused with football coaching, but let's just take football for example. Why is it that when the Black Stars are not doing well, we change the coach? Okay?
Yeah.
We immediately change the coach. When you take an organization, I work in an organization, we took over several banks. Whenever you take over a bank, the first thing you do is you change the leader. Because if the leader was good, the bank would not be sold.
Right.
Okay?
Of course.
So leadership is so important and critical. It's a factor that will take the organization, will take the country to a high level. But unfortunately, our leaders, both corporate and our political leaders, have not availed themselves with the coaching. The other presidents in other countries, the other CEOs in other countries are not better human beings than us. The difference is that they are using all the necessary tools to help them enhance their performance, and we are not. We are just taking the little we learn from school, which we have forgotten anyway.
That's right.
And we are using, and then we think we are leading, and we hear ministers and you hear managers talking to their team members, and you say, really? If he's gone through coaching, there's no way he will talk the way.
So you say from where you sit, when you test the temperature, there's a deficiency as far as leadership coaching and leadership training is concerned. Maybe even the training we can put to the side, but leadership coaching in particular, you say we haven't even begun to crawl, let alone think about walking, jogging, running, and even flying.
If you look at the data available, the research, all the indices and everything, it's obvious. Okay, it's absolutely. I think I did an interview yesterday on behalf of ICF, and I have somebody living in the US. Says this is credible because the leader, let's say you want to do some negotiations, business investment and everything, that leader of that entity will take that business he wants to do to coaching discussion. Coach, I want to discuss my going to Ghana. I want to discuss a business venture I want to do with somebody in Ghana. And I wish to see ABCD. I've coached you, Martha Bex, that's Oprah Winfrey's coach. She has coached Oprah for over 25 years. Why would she maintain her coach for 25 years? It's a subject to your answers. Then the coach will ask, this trip to Ghana, where in your purpose in life does it sit? So if your ministers, the minister in charge of, let's say, road and transport, were to have a personal coach, or there is a policy by government that anybody who assumes a public leadership role there is a coach assigned to you.
Will the ICF be able to take up that sort of role if government were to get together?
We have exceptional coaches. We have amazing coaches in this country. ICF Ghana chapter can boast of that. Because if you are able to connect your national assignment to your personal purpose of living, you are a different breed.
And to expand on that, that's quite interesting, because every now and again when we have some of our MPs in the studio and there's a particular issue that you can tell that if this person was, acting on their innate, shall I say, convictions and values, they would go a separate way. I always ask them, I ask that question, I think, is there maybe a spirit in the House of Parliament that once you enter there, your innate convictions are left to the side? And sometimes I'm not too happy with the answer. They can't really explain why those sorts of values seem to fall by the wayside when there's a, pack mentality, or they enter the House of Parliament. Can coaching address that type of canker that I've observed?
Now, the research out there that ICF Global did suggests that people who go through coaching on a personal level, performance, productivity, development, life satisfaction, communication, quality, moves to 70%.
I see.
Yeah.
This is supported by data.
Yes.
Data, I'm talking about data.
Research.
Wow.
That individual, if Coach Sammy and I, like we are at the board, the reason we may be getting results is not because we are perhaps exceptional. As the president, do you know I've been assigned a coach mentor from ICF? Someone who have been in a presidential position before.
I see. So even the coach needs a coach.
I have.
Yes.
Aside that which ICF has given me, I also have my personal coach. He was actually my mentor at the Teams and Executive Coaching School. So you see, when I'm functioning and getting results, don't assume it's out of nothing. There is something else I'm doing with my life.
It's a deliberate effort to enhance
you have
yourself.
to be attentional and intentional about yourself. That is the only way you can become valuable to this universe. So if we are all doing that and it's a business, it trickled down to our department. That is 50%. Then to the organization, it's 48%. And guess what? The return on investment, there's a company called Intel. They allowed themselves to be researched.
Okay.
Their coaching program in the last 17 years. They are making coaching impact to their ROI is $1 billion.
Wow.
That coaching intervention adds to their return on investment to the tune of $1 billion annually.
$1 billion we're talking.
Yes, $1 billion.
Wow.
That is just the fray.
Wow.
Go and check their performance, 400%, 350%. The indices that we use to check how healthy a company is, they have the highest of 80+%. So we are not talking about voodoo. We are not talking about wishful thinking. We are saying this is tried and tested process across the world. I mean, when the survey is done every year, every 3 years, ICF conducts surveys. It is tried and tested. Coaching is $4.5 billion revenue globally. This year,
4.5 billion.
Yes. This year it may hit 6 billion. So the question we are asking is, where is Ghana's cake in that amount of money? Except if we begin to invest in coaching. So leadership is mission critical. Executive management level is mission critical. The people who supervise others, they are mission critical. And if you assign them coaches, because when your personal life gets better, you want to multiply it in the lives of others.
So it has that ripple effect that even if you've managed to take somebody through leadership coaching, the effects spread far and wide to those around them.
Absolutely.
Incredible.
Absolutely. And it creates, we call it a coaching cultural environment.
Yes.
Because if, like you said, 5, 6, 7, all our managers have coaches, and they are leading us that way with the learning, the insightful learning they have had, it's going to transform the whole culture of the organization. And if we bring it down to the other levels, it's going to multiply absolutely. So this is what we are talking about. We are talking about a tool that for a very long time has, if you like, been neglected, especially in our part of the world. But those who have been using it, he likes to talk about Singapore, where they have taken coaching as a national, at a national level.
Oh, I see. So they have actually gone even a step further.
Singapore has nationalized coaching.
Yes.
So how does that look like in practical terms?
In practical terms, it means you can't assume any leadership role without a coach.
Aha.
It also means that they catch them young.
Okay.
So right from the university, because they are the, if you look at the data, Singapore and Asia, they are the younger generation that invest in coaching at the personal level.
Okay.
So when you sit at the table, you all have the creative mind. We are all creating apps, you are AI and everything. When you sit down with them, you will have a burnout. They won't go through that level of burnout because there is a coach. Because they live their life through a certain guided value, purpose, mission that is nationalistic. But here.
Where is the national?
Where is?
Some might describe our style as freestyle, but time check, it is some 30 minutes to the top of the 12 noon. This is 3 Lounge on 3FM at 92.7. On Tuesdays, we like to get productive. We're talking about coaching right about now. I've got in studio Scofrey Nanayao Yeboah, transformational coach, president of the ICF Ghana chapter. Also, Mr. Samuel Eyim, lawyer and leadership coach. He's a member of the board of directors of ICF Ghana chapter. And you say you're not quite even a year old. So has the official launch hasn't yet taken place? Is that yet to come? What are the plans?
Yes, the official launch is on Friday.
Okay.
And we invited particularly executives and HR professionals to join us at the EcoBank Ghana Auditorium, where we would adore ICF Ghana. And we are privileged to have the chairman of the global board of ICF International as our guest of honor, and other dignitaries, where we would share ideas, and we would also sign some MOUs, with JIMPA, where we are going to try to work with JIMPA to bring coaching, like you said, catch them young. Bring the coaching learning to some university. We've already done sensitization with JIMPA, with Heritage University, and we are doing other campuses. So once we outdoor this, and we need all of your support, we will then be able to go out there and tell people more about coaching. And as you said, we have coaches in Ghana. We have over 30 ICF coaches in Ghana.
Okay, so,
but
I know you're all concentrated in the capital, I'm sure. But at least we start from somewhere.
Well, the business of coaching, due to technology, because we sit in Ghana, we coach experts across the globe.
Okay, of course.
So what is important is access to a device that you can easily flow. Then also, we also have the opportunity to hear testimonies from student hub that have gone through. I mean, it was beautiful when we went to GIMPA and students were sharing the impact coaching I've had. One of them was my client, and it was I could virtually experience the shift of who he was before coaching and who he is now. So there will be what we call coaching organization panel discussion. There are 2 businesses in Ghana who deploy coaching in their HR responsibilities, and they are there to share with us. What we also want to take advantage of is come and get to know who your coaches are.
Okay.
Just get to know who your coaches are, because it is important to know you have a coach that belongs to a body that regulates them. Okay, that belongs to a body where it is mandatory to take continuous coaching education. You belong to a body that has got a community where there is peer coaching that goes on, and supervision. Okay, so there are times where 2 coaches one will have to play the client and stuff. Then we analyze your coaching, and we have 8 competencies that every session you need to have with the client must fall within.
Right.
So it's not.
I was going to say, this is not child's play at all, what it is we're talking about, because I think for a long time, especially in our part of the world, we think about coaching as some frivolous add-on. Oh, okay, this company, they have money, so maybe they'll have somebody come, and it's a nice to have. But if you're listening this morning to us on 3 Lounge, it's not even just a nice to have, it's a must have. So for CEOs who are listening, HR managers who are listening, I'm sure we've whet a lot of appetites this morning. They can come May 17th, that's Friday, to the EcoBank
Ghana Auditorium.
Ghana Auditorium, and come and meet with the ICF, learn more about what they do, and take part in some of these discussions. Gentlemen, I'll give you the final words and we'll wrap up on this convo. Yes,
anybody who wants to have access to ICF Ghana chapter, look, you can just email info@icfghanachapter.org, or if you want to see what we are doing, www.icfghanachapter.org, or you can call the following number: 0593563492, 0593563492. This is incorporating coaching with our culture here. There is nothing powerful than having your kind supporting you to become a better version of who you are, to serve the nation, our lives, our families, and our teams and our businesses.
Yeah. And finally, I would just say that now you have ICF coaches here. We have certified coaches. So let nobody just tell you he's a coach. In fact, if somebody says he's a coach, you can just go to ICF website and you can go if the person is certified or not.
Right.
And so look for professionals who can support your growth, who can support your potential. We are here to help.
Amazing stuff. Scofrey, Samuel, thank you so much for your time this morning. I'm particularly excited about coaching. I've not really thought about it much, but you have certainly whet my appetite this morning, especially if the proof is in the pudding and it's making money across the world. Just this enhanced potential being unearthed through coaching. I think it's something that we should all pay particular attention to. So do enjoy the rest of the day. We'll certainly see you on Friday.
Thank you so much.